my nose as
That
usual.
That can't be. Surely not. We'll see whether it appears here. It bloody did. Oh my God, that went online instantly. What about with you?
No.
No?
No.
Well.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
It's not just saying it sets its multiple destinations.
There we go.
So, there you go. Apparently,
Yeah, of course, because I was blowing my nose. It's fine.
Apparently, where it normally takes like several minutes for it to sort its act out and decide whether or not it'd like to deign to go online and share our wonderful knowledge, today
I didn't want to give me time to blow my nose.
it just leapt on without barely a second's notice. Look at that.
Good morning.
I don't know. Maybe they made some improvements, but there you go. So good morning, and welcome to Elevensies with Lisa Anton and Skittle, who is being ridiculously obsessive compulsive this morning. I just don't know what to tell you other than if anybody wants a free cat, please, just let us know. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, Morgan. A new person. Actually, did you know that's her name, isn't it?
Skittle's real name is Miss Morgan, yes.
Yes.
Because she has an M on her head.
Yes. We would hold her up and show you, but we'd like to retain, our arms and legs and things. Are you going to try?
Good morning, Kim. Good morning,
Is that
Shauna.
wise?
Happy Wednesday.
It is.
It's
Which Way Wednesday. So there you go.
So we talked a little bit about what we're going to talk about today before.
Yes.
But we thought we'd...
Still not had enough coffee
Oh
yet.
my God, no, and my hair is... I'm just having one of those...
Well,
all right.
we'll let you into a little secret.
For the people who were there last night, or yesterday, you know that I was kind of like out of body having another experience. And
oh gosh. Yeah, well,
I've had a rough couple of days.
She's been doing that, and of course, I decided to keep us up until the wee hours this morning because I sort of finished, and I think
our rockumentary,
and it's quite long. It's like an hour and a quarter long, so
we'll
be uploading that later. So yeah, that could be fun.
And we still didn't include all the crystals. We forgot 3 cabinets. The crystal balls.
It's all my fault.
Crystal balls, pyrite. Points.
Yeah, Lisa got drug off to make a
phone call,
and so I had to do a woefully inadequate sort of walk
around myself. You had to improvise it.
So my apologies in advance, but hey, it's actually we had a quick look at it last night.
No, it's pretty good.
It's all right, actually.
And there was no karaoke. So
no, damn. But you see, but don't spoil it. Oh. Let's just summarize the entire flaming plot and everything that we did. Yeah.
All right.
No, you should watch it. We'll put it up, and you might like it. You might like it. So, anyway, Which Way Wednesday? What are we going to talk about?
All right. Well, we've talked a little bit about this before, in a segment that was called "Which Witch is Which."
Which witch is which? What witch? Why? When?
I've noticed that the old gods are stirring. And they're getting into mainstream now, where, previously it was something that was very hidden. Very much looked at as the occult, and
rumor has it Stevie Nicks is going to do something on the Mabinogi on Rhiannon.
Yes, a Hollywood thing on Rhiannon.
Excuse us.
Well, a Hollywood thing on the Mabinogi. We don't have any details for that, but apparently that's in the works. So they are reaching.
Stevie Nicks was an actor. But I don't know.
She's been in some other television show. Yeah.
What do I know?
I think she played a witch. Imagine that.
Well, that's a surprise. All right, pray continue.
If you'd let me, I'd love to.
I'm sorry. I'm all discombobulated. I'll just sit here and drink my coffee.
Right. So the old gods are stirring, and they're coming into the mainstream. And I think that people who never found them accessible before, or never thought that it was okay to access them, are now starting to ask about them.
Indeed.
So I see a lot of people who are recovering Christians, let's say, asking questions about the old religions.
Right.
And yesterday, someone was saying, could you please tell me about paganism?
Well, that's a small subject.
And I said, all right, well, do you have a path within that blanket that you'd like to talk about? I mean, are you thinking you might be Wiccan? Are you thinking you might be a Satru? Are you thinking that you wanted to talk about Native American things? And they said, no, nothing specific. I just want to know about being pagan. So the first sentence we always say is, all right, let's understand that we have Christianity. And within Christianity, there are all these paths, right?
Oh my goodness, Chris. You could write a book on how many different branches of Christianity
Judaism, Catholicism, all
Lutheranism,
the Methodists, all those kind of things.
Seventh-day Adventists.
Muslims are Christians.
Well, no, they sort of. There's an acknowledgement of Christ within there, but they don't consider him to be any more than a prophet.
And Satanists are Christian.
Necessarily you would have to be, wouldn't you? If you were going,
So there's a huge difference in the mythology, right? In Catholic myth versus Jewish myth versus, Presbyterian. So Presbyterian, Methodist, Episcopalian, those guys might have a little more in common. But certainly the myth, Jewish mysticism and Jewish myth is going to be very different than Catholic myth.
Well, absolutely, because it doesn't go into the New Testament at all.
Right.
I mean, they don't acknowledge, Judaism doesn't acknowledge Jesus Christ as the Messiah, so to speak.
Right.
Whereas the whole pretext of Christianity is that Jesus is the man, But it's interesting that Catholicism and, what should we say,
Protestant religions
are exactly the same damn religion. The only thing that separates them is leavened bread.
And the Pope.
And yes, the infallibility of the Pope. And Jesus Christ, Jesus the Son, the Father, the whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Father, Son, Sage,
so we can
malarkey.
see that under that blanket, Christian,
yes,
there are a lot of different mythologies, a lot of different myths.
There's more you can shake a stick at. Like Mormonism, for example, is Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
But
Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses, and they have, they've all got their own little wrangles and twists and.
So we have that kind of thing going on with the different mythologies within the pagan religions, right? When we look at the Native American lore, Mother Earth, Father Sky. So the term we could say paganism, a duo or polytheistic earth-based religion, right? A god and a goddess, or multiple gods and goddess, that honor nature.
Well, I think it's anything pretty much outside of the realm of the revealed religions, I think you could
You're
say...
saying there's only Christian and pagan?
No.
Right.
No. Judaism is not Christianity, but that's definitely a revealed religion. Islam is not Christianity, but that's definitely a revealed religion. But Christianity's got a massive, broad thing.
JC gets honorable mention in all of those mythologies.
Not as Christ in Judaism. I can't even do that. That's strictly Old Testament. All right, so let's back this up. Where it came from, pagan was originally a derogatory term used by the Romans to describe those uneducated country dwellers that had not received, the education and the enlightenment of the modern new religion, that they were out there. So as Christianity swept through the Roman Empire and was largely, how should we say, introduced, typically at the point of a sword, to people. Those that hadn't, received this, for want of a better word, enlightenment, were considered the country dwellers. The people outside there, the heathens. They lived on the heath, or pagans. Meaning country dweller, quite literally. So that's where it came from. That's a derogatory term. And it stuck, paganism. But paganism basically is outside of, they don't have written largely. You could go on forever. Yeah, all witches are pagan. Not all pagans are witches. Absolutely. All Native Americans are pagan, but not all pagans are Native American, I guess. You could, paganism is a huge thing. So when somebody says, I want to be a pagan, well, what? What are you talking about?
Right. So
What's
that's what
speaking
I was
to
trying to
you?
get to, and I said,
Good morning,
so I
Uncle
said,
Dan.
when you're saying pagan, are you asking about, Wicca? Are you asking about Asatru? Are you asking about Native American? Are you asking about Eastern philosophy? Because technically, they're polytheistic.
Well, Hinduism certainly is, isn't
right? They follow the moon and the sun and the stars.
Islam and Judaism follow the moon.
Yeah.
They both got lunar calendars.
But the person said, no, I'm just pagan, I think.
Okay.
So I was trying to extract a little information from them to try to help them or answer some questions, but it didn't go very well because, maybe they just didn't feel Christian and they weren't sure what label they should have if they didn't feel Christian.
You know what? I think what the trouble is, and if it's the trouble, people, I think, have gotten used to instant gratification. I can Google it, I can look it up on Wikipedia, I can resolve that. And some people can't even be bothered to do that. Honestly, they can't even be, but that's too much effort to even go and, read a few sources. And also think about where the source is from,
Is it something regurgitated?
Yeah, is it reviewed by their peers? Is it something, from a respected author? Or is it some kind of out there fringy stuff that's just been regurgitated by your algorithm on social media?
Well, kind of circling back to what I was saying, the old gods are stirring.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Right? That which you are seeking is causing you to seek. So I think more and more people are waking up to an idea that Christianity isn't the only path, right? Mm-hmm. And that just because you may not be Christian doesn't mean you're a bad person, right? When they start to look into it, they start to realize that, when you look at Native American, when you look at Wicca, for example, or Druidry, you start to realize, wait a minute, these religions have healers. These religions have counselors. These religions have justices, and this isn't all bad. No. And then when you look into the Eastern religions, there's certainly amazing work you can do towards enlightenment or becoming closer to deity. All these things. So I think that the old gods are stirring. People are waking up, and they're trying to figure out what to do, right? Because it's very hard to completely denounce or give up your core religion, the religion you were raised with.
It is, because that's what you grew up knowing to be true.
Right. Now, if you were raised with a very open-minded people and almost no religion, then it's much easier, I think, to formulate what you believe.
If you've been encouraged to ask questions.
But like Anton was saying, if you had to go to church and you made your communion and you learned the Bible inside and out, and this was, something that generations of your family were venerated for being good Christians, it's going to be really difficult for you to take those blinders off and realize that, hold on a minute, not every rabbi is going to go to hell because he's not a Catholic, and not every Native American medicine shaman is going to go to hell, and not every witch is going to go to hell, and is there even a hell?
But hell basically means light, by the way. When you want to start to dig in etymology of words. The problem is we have to understand that these religious texts are mythology, and a lot of people don't realize that. And every single religious text is mythology.
When I get into my shamanism class and I say the words together, and the Christ myth, you can see people freak out a little bit.
Yeah. We're obviously evil and godless because we don't follow the Christian path. No. I would just point out to you that Adolf Hitler followed the Christian path. Mm-hmm. Okay? And genocide is not something I consider to be, an honorable thing. And unfortunately, and especially in this country, and I do apologize if you're one of these people that feel so vehemently about this, but we've bred a bunch of intolerant people. And I have to tell you that right-wing fundamental Christianity within this country is a scary thing to see. It's a scary thing to see. You know, how different is it from Sharia law, if you will, within Islamic countries, you know, that we have to have God in everything. You know, one nation under God was only added in the 60s. That was never there. That was never there. In God We Trust was added to the banknotes in the 60s in response to the evil, godless communism, you know. So just get your history right. Look at history. Go digging. Ask questions.
So Mike is saying, were your families Wiccan? How did you come to the path?
Not at all.
And Anton's folks were Church of England, I believe.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't say I had an overly intense Christian upbringing. You know, it's just what you got written on your birth certificate or what you declared your religion to be in the forces in case they needed to dig a hole for you and you got killed, you know. That was it, you know. Maybe I went to church at Christmas, maybe not for most part, you know, somebody's wedding perhaps. I had a flirt with born-again Christianity when I started to become spiritually aware myself. But even then I found that there were such gaping holes that just could not be answered. Undoubtedly, there's an energy, there's an egregore, there's an incredible fellowship in certain respects as well. You know, all the good stuff. I mean, spirituality is good for people. It really is. But there's some gaping holes when you start to dig. And the thing is, we accept as certainly within the craft of the wise, we accept our mythology to be mythology, and it's there for illustrative purposes. It doesn't pertain to be fact. It doesn't pertain to be a historically accurate record.
No, wait a minute. No. All right. Now, I'll answer the question for myself.
Please.
My mother was a devout Methodist. She was raised Methodist. Her parents belonged to the Glenford Church. Her mom played the organ.
Parts of the world.
Her mom played the organ for the church, and they were Methodists. My dad certainly went along with that and helped to raise us Methodist. I loved the singing. I've always kind of loved the singing. But my father was also part of the Masonic order. He raised people in the Masonic Lodge, and he had hoped that I would become an Eastern Star, but I told him that I was nobody's ladies auxiliary. And he was very interested with the outdoors. So kind of he's my connection, I think, to nature. And my mom always had a garden. My mom passed away when I was quite young, in my early 20s, and that's when I came to the tarot. So, you know, like 30 years ago. And sometime back. And when I, because of knowing the Bible so well, when I started to look at the tarot images, I realized that many of them were of religious ilk, all different religious. So I started and kind of went backwards, Mike. I said, okay, where did the Methodists come from? The Catholics. Where did the Catholics come from? The Jews. Where did the Jews come from? Oh, look, the pagans. So, it kind of made my trail backwards and into older and older and older mythologies.
That's you, though. That's your way. You go looking under stones. It's your nature.
So when you look at like the Temperance card, I looked at it and I said, this is Revelations 10, the great archangel with 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land. Why, instead of saying like, why is this on the tarot? I'm like, why is this in the Bible?
What exactly. What is the significance of having 1 foot on water and 1 foot in land?
Right. And then, you could see the lovers as Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden with Mount Zion. And it talks about the tree of life, and you can see the snake coming, and I'm like, what is going on here? Kundalini. There's all kinds of things hidden in the tarot from all the different religions, and that's because I believe the tarot is a story that tries to evoke you to understand the nature of nature itself.
I think it's fair to say that tarot is based on the Kabbalah, and the Kabbalah sets out to be a map of the nature of nature itself.
Tree, this Monday, the world tree. You've got, shamanism. You've got all kinds of everything is maybe from the same source, but a different story.
Right, and that's where you go back to source, don't you? And that's what I was saying. If you hear a piece of information. What's its source?
Why is it called
Where's
that?
It come from?
Where'd that word come from?
Etymology of words. Oh, God, they give so much away.
Mm-hmm.
They truly, truly do. And I just got to say, I love what Wendy's put here. I know, good morning, Erin. She said, listening with my son, Mikey, so many questions. Well, encourage him to ask them. Never criticize somebody for asking questions. You shouldn't.
Right, because they may ask something.
Shaman class, what is that? We'll get into shamanism a bit. That's a whole different animal. We can go somewhere.
I will first say that I am not declaring that I am a shaman.
Oh, hell no.
But I do understand
We're familiar with the process.
The basic practices of shamanic work. And I teach a short little introduction
and it is
about power animals and your connection to nature. How to retrieve a power animal, how to do divination, earth-based divination work, and how to take an upper world journey. So it's shamanism per se, but I am not a shaman. That's another investment of
we can talk about cultural appropriation until the cows come home. So, however, shamanic practices or shape-shifting practices or
part of the
aligning
craft,
with the energies of other animals or
familiars, things
are
like that.
Absolutely part of the craft of the wise and part of witchcraft, definitely. Yeah. So there are similarities, and wherever you look all over the world, you're going to find those similarities.
That sew things together.
So I got to come to what Wendy's just said. Wendy said, "Recovering Catholics." What a great name!
Recovering Catholics. Yeah.
Catholics. I just think that's so funny. So Catholicism, it's an interesting word. Again, get into the etymology. Catholic means all-encompassing. And if you think about what the Roman Empire did as it sort of conquered most of the world...
They would disguise the deities of that place.
They would just canonify them, if you will. We'll call them saints. So you have these deities, we don't
want to
Breed, for example.
Oh, Breed, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll call her Saint Bridget, and they would... So they allow the people to continue to worship all they are. They just give them a place at the table, so to speak. So all of the saints you see within Catholicism are local regional deities for the most part.
In the beginning,
that have gotten canonified, if you will. And so, I don't... excuse me.
We could go on.
We could go on and probably will. It's interesting that this is one of the things that we talk about in the craft of the wise.
But it's definitely... after being on this path for so long, I recognize the shift that more and more people want to know. More and more people are answering a call. The old gods are stirring.
Definitely.
The cycle, like if you think about the pendulum, right? Here's all the goddess, women are amazing. How do they possibly produce and feed a child without us? The goddess is worshipped because the goddess is the most amazing.
No, that won't do for misogyny, will it?
Okay. Pendulum swings over here. Misogynistic.
Women should be
it all has
and
to
pregnant.
do with a male god. We figured out that it has to do with us. Without our seed, you can't produce anything. So, now we're going to worship JC and the big man. And now I think what's happening is the pendulum is kind of coming to a place of still.
Well, there will always be oscillations,
both of these sides.
But they reduce.
But you can honestly understand that without a seed and a place for the seed to grow, right? Force. Without that, you can't really create something.
Where's the fetus going to gestate? Reg in a shoebox?
Well, ask Woody and he'll tell you it kissed. But anyway.
Yes, they're so well read, Monty Python.
But you can see that in that story, the fourth branch of the Mabinogi, you can see the shifting
hell yeah.
from
matriarchy, if you will,
into patriarchy.
And the fight that goes
the
over.
fight that goes on about.
It's all about
the
you shall
sun.
have no arms unless I arm it. Well, coat of arms, that's your heraldic descent. Heraldic? I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that correctly,
Yeah.
So it's, we say arms, but you look at a coat of arms,
Right.
and
it's not
it
just
represents
a weapon.
your lineage, your family, all that stands behind
Your
you.
hoil.
Yeah. Oh God, we could. I'm loving this one. We should just keep this one going for a while. This is. I don't know. I think it's interesting though. But I think the old gods are finding their voice again. They've been repressed for so long.
They are.
They've been repressed for so long, and it's science. It's provable science. Newton explained it as if for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Same when you push the pendulum all the way over, and we get these huge sort of bouts of extremism.
Kill some more people in the name of my God.
Exactly. Then there's a push back at that, and there's a fight and that, and it takes a while until as I said, oppositions hurt. They really do. Severity and mercy are incompatible. It's the resolution between that severity and mercy, that place where, you can be firm but fair, so to speak. Yeah? That adjustment where the word justice comes from, It's finding that resolution. And that's what we try to do in our own lives. And for the vast majority of people, and it's really, really sad, you've got some people right out on the extremes. It's almost like, what a histogram is, where you've got that
I have no idea
distribution. It's a graphic distribution. Right in the middle of it, there's a big lump where most people are. And then down at the extremes, if you look at IQ, most people are smack bang in the sort of middle, but, above it, it starts to get less, right? Oh, and down there. Same with extreme Christianity, extreme whatever, There's this trying to find this balancing force. And I think when people shove the pendulum so far...
agnostic, I don't know and you don't know either.
Yeah, there are those people there.
That's the other end.
Yeah, or atheists, whatever, right there. But it's just the nature of nature. If people are nasty and horrible and mean and rile towards other people, there's a force that springs up to counter that, counter protesters, if you will. They protest about the people protesting. But eventually, all of these energies meld, and when we look at the whole, crowdsourcing an idea or a resolution, we will get it right 99.9% of the time if you take every single part of the sample.
But damn it is stalking us.
All right. Well, yeah.
He'll cause chaos.
Unfortunately, with him and his sister, they don't resolve to make nice, happy pussycats. They
All
have
right.
to trash the
So let's
entire
pull
house.
up card of the day because we've been on this a while.
Oh, yeah, but it's good though, isn't it?
It is.
So notice that and this is the final point I was going to make before the pull card of the day. We've seen some horrible and tragic things, but if you think about the whole period between the rise of the Third Reich and right now, in the grand scheme of things, it's just a mere couple of ticks.
It's about 100 years now.
Yeah, it's a couple of ticks, couple of seconds on the
If
clock.
even.
On the clock. And where we're at right now is that bump as we move from one phase to another. And we're coming into the age of Aquarius, which is all about humanity.
We are
and all about
officially in,
finding, yes, but there's still those growing pains and the people that are holding on to, white male supremacy at the expense of everything else, Jews won't replace us. Come on, nobody's replacing anybody. Celebrate the diversity of the wonderful world in which we live. Look around you, get your head, out of your own butt, and you will see beautiful and amazing things. We love people's cultures. We love people's stories. We love people's music. We may not understand it, but it's
I love
fantastic
their food too.
well, yeah. Yeah. But there's so much can be gained if we all join together and, you take the whole of the thing. You're going to get the answer right. Don't just listen to one nut job, or somebody who's got a big voice and makes people angry. Don't listen to them either.
Card of the day.
Card of the day. I'm loving this. But yeah, please get your son to ask lots of questions.
And hi, Savannah.
What an effing great, beautiful card for today. Says it all. She knew her stuff, family.
She did. My reading for you for today, for this card, is to notice the paths that are coming out of the sun. There are 22, one that matches each of the major arcana. So it doesn't matter what path you take as long as you are true to it, right? So I'm going to say today to figure out what your truth is and do something to investigate and support that truth.
So, you always say, look and you'll see more. So you said, look at the sun. And I noticed the sun has got those paths, as you say, but some are dead straight and some are wiggly. And that's not an accident. Now I need to know why. Now I need to know what does the wiggly path on the sun
spiral
represent?
Path is the wiggly one.
Oh, is it spiral? Is it a helix? Is that what it's showing? Yeah.
Anyway, what's your reading?
Doing all right, getting good grades. Your future's that bright. You've got to wear shades. The obstacles behind you move forwards and bring light to things. Bring light to things. If there's an area in your life that you're struggling with, that it's light it up a bit, highlight it, and really focus on it. Shine a damn light on it.
Have you done your editing?
No, I've been talking since we started because we went on in a second. Thank you. See, I would have forgotten all that.
Forgotten that.
I have just no wit.
Be the light today.
Be the light.
Shine the light on something. Have a good look at it.
Absolutely. I'll be 2 seconds. But it's such a pleasure to do that. And
Mr. Emmett.
we have got such a great video to put up a bit later.
Oh, the rockumentary. Got to catch that.
Word. Yeah, keep your eyes open for that. And do please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends all about it. It's pretty good. So yeah, it's just about an hour and a quarter. You may not be able to watch it all in one go, but that's perfectly fine.
Get us some views.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been an absolute pleasure. We didn't even get a chance to drink our coffee. I thought it was a good Witch Day Wednesday.
It was a good Witch Day Wednesday.
We've got some thinking stuff going on there.
All
I
right.
like thinking.
Thank
which
you
leads
all.
us into Thoughtful Thursday tomorrow.
Thank you all. Bless